A bit of a rainy day recording. Kind of got bored, so I just make a video. Now, kind of found my mask again, so let me tell you a little something about this. Before I even knew I was a half-blood, I had a general sense of what some of these symbols on the mask usually mean. This one, for me specifically, is, kind of a reference to, well, I guess sort of like being close to a specific type of, like, you have two on each side, and then third eye in the center. Was kind of the thought of it. Of course, you can probably guess what this one is. Infinity. I kind of had a little bit of an obsession with it at the time. And really, as far as it meant to me, means to me to this very day, it's just immortality. I mean, you are infinite, you become infinite, blah. I can pretty much go on and rant all I need to, but I guess what I really want to touch on is some of the dumb stuff that's happened in Ferguson. I mean, sure, you gotta have raiders. I get why the hell they raided the shit out of the entire area they were in, but I mean, what the hell, man? You passed out a few signs and now you're a target? Yeah, that's really fucking mature, asshole. That's really fucking mature. Ah, damn it. Probably be better off with some of the other shit. I'm just hanging off to the side of my head for the time being. I mean, it's part of my past. I figured I might as well keep it around for decoration, keep my spirits up a bit. It's, as you could probably see, it's like, yeah, you could probably hear it. Rainy day. Ah, man. I've been kind of coming to terms with some of the things, like I just keep having that whole bullshit of me and the Federation come up. Screw it. There's a lot of things that could really be said about humanity in general. Sure, I can say, like, okay, Reclaimer is basically they do as they please. They're not really someone that wants to stick with a hierarchy, or they have a specific purpose in the hierarchy that they just have so much power they don't need to follow orders unless it's by a specific agreement, which the Reaper Corps do have. Most clans do have that, and so they do have a Reclaimer status, and most beings just leave them alone. Man, oh man, oh man. As far as healers go, I've seen variances in the types of healing people do. You have physical, energy, mental. It just doesn't really matter to me. I mean, I'm not into that sort of thing. I can understand how some beings actually come down to that path because it's really who they are and what their soul was made out to be. But then you have the protectors, which I've had some time as. I I still have a little bit rubbed off on me as a reclaimer. Just sitting up there protecting Astral and keeping the gateway open, so to speak. Let souls come to and from. But as of recent, I've kind of like gotten the memo like, okay, a lot of souls are leaving. Saying I'm evacuating something. Whatever. Only reason I ever would evacuate people is because there's really just not enough soul energy on Earth anymore to sustain it. I would say that for sure if I knew what the soul energy balance was. Like, I go by population, obviously. And there's either just too many beings on Earth that are trying to survive that I can't count them all, or my book is kind of, backlogged of how many beings I have to take off world. It's that many. Hell, even death can't keep track of every being, but if you find, how the whole saying that give the devil his due before he knows you're gone, or something like that. I don't know. Okay, never mind. Maybe in heaven before the devil gets his due, or I think or before the devil knows you're gone. Well, some of them do actually get their way every so often, and they slip past us. That doesn't mean they get away for permanent, though. I mean, I've seen plenty of beings just say the half of how we exist, and we pull through and do blah blah blah. Doesn't really matter to me. I mean, I'm just doing my own little thing, just being a reclaimer. I got all this power, and I can just do whatever the fuck I want with it, and yet it's an entire organization. I have to follow a set amount of rules. I mean, like a very strict amount of rules. Very strict. I could say what they are, but if I did say them, I could run the risk of you taking my place. I don't want that. I really don't. I really don't at all. Not yet. I want to stick around for a while, see what I can do for humanity. Just indirectly as much as possible. Without actually getting fully involved. I mean, souls, to some extent, are kind of like the most neutral ground you can get on. I've seen some pretty nasty stuff, but so far, being a Reaper in general, Shit, man. Separating families has to be the hardest. It's like, cause I still feel some emotion. It's like, say, like, okay, the Grim Reaper is a cold, heartless son of a bitch. Oh, fuck you. You don't know what, you have no idea who the fuck I am. You have know who I've been before that. So goodbye to you. There is a lot of things to really just be said that have gone through on my mind. That I mean, being a Reaper, yeah, it's hard, but it's at least a little more lethargic due to than in general to some of the other tasks you probably do on this planet. I mean, sure, I could probably just say, okay, I'll get rid of his body and say, oh, I'm a Reaper for good now. But it was kind of the stretch. Like, having this body, until it's dead, which would be a full 100 years, probably, I could probably get out of it. Or, if I choose to end it sooner, well, that'll depend. But, the, like I said, I am, like, part Phoenix, and then the other half of it is just, fuck me, I gotta deal with shit in the astral, so I don't know how that's gonna work out. But I've been getting into something a little bit recent called, or at least what my friend Ark Holm calls it, which, um, as far as being a Reaper goes, she could probably get into that a little bit later, which I'm fairly miffed about. But nonetheless, she calls it spirit projection. It's sort of like an advanced version of astral projection, but your whole being is put into it. You're not just like piece of mind, piece of body, piece of everything that makes you as a physical being. You're like blood, flesh, electrical, everything. You feel everything. You see everything. You're completely blanked. There's nothing on your as far as your body goes. So you can feel your body slightly, but it's like you don't even have a body. You're a free moving soul, quite literally. As to how to do it, well, that's something you'd have to ask a higher, like your higher self, as far as I'm concerned, because it's personalized and individualized to what you are. At least that's how I've been told or explained how it works. But I think the really simple way of saying it is like you start with astral projection, and then for me personally, it's like you're kind of doing this from either bottom to top, top to bottom, sideways, like go down, and then you pretty much absorb what your body is, and then you become said soul in general. It's like you focus on each of your chakra going down that point, going down to a certain point or going up to a certain point, depending on what your chakra structure is like. It's It's not easy to do unless you really have had some experience with astral, but at the same time, it's just curious to say the least, because each feeling of like crown chakra, throat chakra, and everything else, it will definitely differ. I can say that much because each soul in its own right is different. Um, like different sensations, you could say you feel warm and then cold all of a sudden all at once, and then it's like you're not even feeling anything at all until you're out of completely gone. You're not part of your body anymore. You're something else entirely. You're a being unto yourself. You're able to free float shit. But the thing is, you're still subject to the laws of gravity if you so choose it. And, well, stupid me. I was still thinking gravity fell through to the floor a little bit until I thought, okay, solid object, and that kind of hurt like hell. Until I figured, okay, teleport, I'll go straight back up, and up going to the sky, swap, solid ground. Of course, that didn't hurt as much as it was to, being buried alive, I guess you could say the sensation would be. So, be careful with that. It's not fun. I mean, I've had worse pain before, but that sucked bad. Really, really fucking bad. um, anyway, I kind of had a little bit of an instance with our calm. She kind of heard that I was a reaper somehow, and she, let's just say she made a deal with the devil, so to speak. The reaper that was presiding over her world, specifically her planet, of course, the deal went through with them specifically, the Grim that was in charge of that place. I just instigated it. I just said, okay, well, do you want Monea back? You have to meet these specific requirements. Yes, you can bring people back, but I freaking hate it. I hate it when people try to do something that is absolutely and utterly wrong. For instance, like there's like a soul that wants to just say, forget it. I don't want to exist anymore. That's the only time I'll ever do it. Like the only and there was exactly 4 people at that same moment that had that same thought. They just let themselves go, and Monea came back into existence. So yes, there is a way to be somewhat immortal, but if you're forced from existence, depending on what or who they are eventually rematerialized as into different souls or shapes or forms, those souls, certain aspects of said soul would have to be re-put into other places, and then the rest of the energy recycled, or the other aspects recycled, excuse me, to create a new soul. And for me, I'm still debating on whether or not to have Monea put back, because I know for a fact that she did some really bad things in the past to her people, and well, as far as personal emotions to our home, I don't want to even get into that. That's just I know the feeling of being betrayed. That's just something that I couldn't imagine, being betrayed by your own loved one. That's absolutely and utterly horrible. For them, it's sort of like a Japanese culture. It's dishonor with that. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Now that's something to really think about. In a way, I've seen the point of whatever, you know, this is supposed to turn out as, but I mean, when it comes to humanity, they could just very well be gone by now. I don't know what to do. Really, I don't. I mean, I've designed different types of deaths all over throughout the centuries and millennia, but none as bad as what I'm kind of forced to create, because humanity's been inventing new shit even before I can even think of it. That says a lot about humanity, doesn't it? You change the rules, and you're making my job a hell of a lot harder. So let me tell you something. If you could probably change anything about your world, what would it be? I'll leave you with that thought.